Chairman and colleagues. It's my great pleasure to welcome you this morning as part of our continuous consultation with Member States and with our partners on steps to accelerate the fight against malaria. I'd like first of all to thank the distinguished group of malaria experts and leaders who've kindly agreed to participate in today's event to move us from high burden, as James said, to high impact, getting back on track to end malaria. A number of other partner agencies have made important contributions to the malaria fight globally, and specifically in Africa. And I'm so very pleased to see many of them represented in this room. I'm very encouraged by your interest in the fight against malaria, and particularly I'd like to acknowledge and thank the co-sponsors of today's high-level event who are gathered here at this table: the Republic of Ghana, the Republic of Mozambique, the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, the Solomon Islands. Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, for having joined us. The Kingdom of Thailand, our partners, the African Union Commission, the Royal Black Malaria Partnership, which is represented just across there, the Africa Leaders Malaria Alliance, my sister and compatriot Joy, who's across the aisle, the Asia Pacific Leaders Malaria Alliance, and the UN Foundation. Despite the progress being made in the fight against malaria, I think James introduced this very well, it remains a major public health problem. After an unprecedented period of success and progress in global malaria control, the World Malaria Report 2017 revealed that there were an estimated 216 million cases of malaria in 2016, an increase of 5 million over the previous year. And deaths stood at approximately 450,000, a similar number to the previous year. We have to acknowledge that sub-Saharan Africa remains the home of malaria, and we have 10 countries which, together with India, account for about 70% of global malaria cases and deaths. In an effort to respond to this situation, we have to support member states to get back on track to achieve by 2025 the milestones of the Global Technical Strategy for Malaria 2016-2030, and to sustain the gains thereafter to reach the GTS goals by 2030. We must also pursue the hope and the inspiration represented by the elimination of malaria in countries that have progressed to that point. The high-burden countries will need the highest political leadership to get back on track, to mobilize the additional resources, and to target those resources at interventions that we know do work. We're convinced that with strong ownership and leadership by countries, we'll be able to deliver the expected results for the benefit of our populations. We need to build on the principle that no one should die from a disease that can be easily prevented and diagnosed, and that is entirely curable with available treatments such as malaria. It's my hope that by the end of today's side event, we'll be able to discuss and identify approaches or strategies for getting high-burden countries, including the 10 in Africa plus India, back on track to achieve the GTS goals. Specifically, it is my hope that this discussion will galvanize country leadership to take charge of malaria prevention and control efforts and push the reset button on global malaria trends, which are stagnating or getting worse. Accelerating progress needs to be a joint responsibility, with countries raising domestic resources and partners contributing international financing and expertise. I'm sure that we'll have open and candid discussions during this session so that we all learn from each other and we contribute collectively to malaria being brought under control in all the high-burden countries and to making progress towards elimination in those countries where this is appropriate. I'll now turn the floor back to James, our moderator for today's event, and thank him very much for his help, and thank you all for having joined us at this event. Thank you.